This is Eye on the Community, and I'm your host, Sean Anthony. And joining me next to talk about the Columbus International Summit is Ms. Níel, Jurist, who is the Senior Director of MORPC's Communications and Engagement Department, and also Council Member Ms. Lourdes Barroso de Padilla. Ladies, both of you, welcome to Eye on the Community. How are you?
Good. How are you?
My pleasure. So where do we begin? Let's talk about this Columbus International Summit. It's coming up on June 25th. So Lourdes, I'll start with you. When and where is this happening?
Yep. So we are excited to host what we are hoping will be the first Columbus International Summit, which really is, we're starting off the day with a naturalization ceremony that unfortunately our naturalization ceremonies are not yet open to the public again after COVID. We're still following strict COVID regulations, but we're starting the day off getting 55 plus folks to take the oath as American citizens. And then from there, we are having an international summit from 10 to 2 p.m. And this summit is really an opportunity for immigrant, migrant, refugee families, but really anyone in the city of Columbus to come and get the resources that they need that can help to support their families and communities. And we really started this because we know that immigrants, migrants, and refugees are the number one factor behind our population growth here in Columbus. And June is actually Immigrant Heritage Month. And so the Columbus City Council felt like there was no better way to celebrate and honor that than to host two naturalization ceremonies and this international summit that's really helping to elevate what we call the IRMA, Immigrant, Refugee, and Migrant Community here in Columbus, and to also provide more services and support to these communities to let them both have a sense of belonging, but that also helps to address some of the unique concerns that these emerging communities have in the city.
Níel, let's talk about some of the partners you guys got involved on this event. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. We are excited to partner with Columbus, City of Columbus, and the Council, Columbus City Council. Of course, my organization, MORPC, CODA, the Community, Refugee, and Immigrant Services, and the Columbus Council of World Affairs are the primary partners for this event.
Níel, same to you. And what can we expect to see at this event? You know, share a little bit about what's happening that day.
Sure. So as Councilwoman already said, we're going to kick it off with the naturalization ceremony, which will be closed to the public, but not to the participants and some of their family members. Then we'll have panel discussions that will occur in the auditorium, and that'll be moderated by council members. And so the first one will be transportation. In particular, we'll be talking about Link Us. I'm not sure if you or your audience knows much about Link Us, but it's a partnership between MORPC, the City of Columbus, CODA, and Franklin County to create a more equitable, more connected transportation solution. As you know, we are one of the largest cities with no mass transportation, so that's top of mind. You may have heard, Amtrak connecting us more to other cities, the 3CD, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton. But now we got to talk about inside our region. How can we get around and make it more affordable, accessible, and equitable for everyone? And so you'll have my executive director, William Murdoch from MORPC, participating on that. Council President Shannon Hardin will be doing that in CODA. And then at 11:30, we'll have education panel. 12:30, we'll have health. And then 1:30, we're excited to talk about housing. I mean, that is something that's top of mind for many communities across our city and across the nation. So we'll again have MORPC, Impact, CMHA, and Homeport. And then throughout the day, we'll have performances from community entertainment, from community performers. And then we'll also have a resource fair that'll take place in the gymnasium, which is going to feature over 30 vendors and sponsors. And we'll also have food vendors. I mean, what's an event without entertainment and food? So we're really excited about these conversations. It'll be an opportunity for members of the immigrant, migrant, and refugee community to really ask questions. And it's a great way for them to get acclimated to our community. So it's a very informative event.
Excellent. Councilwoman Lourdes, how did this whole idea come about?
Yeah, and I realized we were remiss in talking about where our summit is going to be held. It's going to be held at the Linden Recreation Center, our newest recreation center. It's a beautiful facility and really an amazing asset to the community. And we're hosting it in Linden because we have Linden is a fast-growing immigrant and refugee, has some of the fastest-growing immigrant and refugee communities in the city. And so we wanted to ensure that folks knew about the rec center, knew about all of the resources that not only holds a rec center, but also a community health center. There's also early childhood development center very close by. So really, again, this came about from our looking at this month and thinking about our changing populations in Columbus and how do we help to uplift the voices, but then also how do we pour into these communities to create a sense of belonging, to ensure that they understand the resources that are available to them in our community. What we know to be true of all of our IRMA communities is that they're very insular. So they have a lot of opportunities where they create opportunities very close to whatever, culture they're bringing into the close-knit communities here in Columbus, and they're supporting each other. But we have all of these vast resources here in the city of Columbus, and we want to ensure that folks know that these resources are for everyone in Columbus, no matter where you come from. And so really the impetus of this was we had amazing partners. We'll have over 30 community organizations that are going to be joining us, offering resources to the families that come out and visit us on that day.
I like to add something to that because actually this conversation started back last year at the end of December. As you know, MORPC is the Regional Council for Local Governments, and we're always meeting with our members to find out ways that we can better support them and strengthen our relationship. And so just to take it back a little bit further, we had a meeting with Director Stanley Gates in the Community Engagement Department. And from this meeting, he brought forth this idea and got the council members very much involved. And so one of the things that we are doing that I didn't speak about, we're also partnering with the Columbus Council on World Affairs. So they do an annual report, like a global report. And so they were one of our earlier partners. We're going to be doing a little bit of an exclusive release of the report at this event. So we're really excited. And then we brought Coda on and we brought Chris. And so we wanted to make sure that these partners who are already doing the work every day are involved. But why this is important to MORPC is, as you know, our region is expected to grow by 3 million by 2050. And so we know that our region is becoming increasingly diverse. And so we want to be able to meet those diverse needs. And so sharing critical resources with our immigrant, migrant, and refugee communities helps them become more acclimated to our region. Also, it's important for our community to know how we're addressing disparities, removing barriers, and that were put in place because of systemic racism. And so all the partners are committed to equity, and this is just one step in addressing those issues. So I want to make sure that it's not just our historically marginalized, but there's a lot of discrimination that happens to our immigrant, refugee, and migrant communities. And so this is very important for us to be there and be a resource and give that information.
You ladies mentioned, a great deal of partners that's going to be at this event. Let's talk a little bit about the resources that the attendees can learn about and take advantage at the summit.
Okay, I could start off. We'll have Impact There, CMHA, Homeport, Columbus Public Health, the Mayor's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. We'll also have Equitas Health. They'll be doing free health screenings also with Columbus Public Health. And so we know that health disparities exist. And so it's a good opportunity to get screenings for preventative services. So those are just a small group of the partners or vendors, sponsors that will be there on the day, but we have over 30.
Yep. And I think it's really about covering all of kind of the basic needs that folks have, right? So it's housing, transportation, family resources. We're going to have the Columbus Library there. COSI will be there. So some of our great institutions that also offer educational support services for our families as well. So we're excited about, bringing these resources to the community so folks have a better understanding of how they can engage and what's available for themselves and for their families.
Is there any particular part that either you are most excited about?
I'm going to let Councilwoman start first. She has a very unique story, and then I'll chime in.
Sure. I'm the daughter of immigrants. So refugees, to be exact. My family came here in 1970. They were survivors of a revolution in their home country of Cuba. And, when I think about that process of, the immigrant experience, why I myself was not an immigrant, is my life experience, right? And so that idea that we have to, again, welcome new folks into our community, that we can provide a space that we are, again, I can't say it enough, creating a sense of belonging. There's been so much rhetoric in our country around what it means to be an American, and offering a home and a refuge to people here who choose this place to rebuild their lives in many cases, whether it's prosperity or refuge that has brought them here. And we know for people who have been in this community for generations, that promise of prosperity has, been a dream deferred. So the idea of this summit is really about saying to folks that we are here. This is your home. These resources are open to every resident in Columbus, whether you've been here 5 years, 50 years, or for generations, right? That we are a community that supports our people and invests in our people. And as we continue to think about Columbus being a place of equity, about how we're a changing and growing city, we have this unique opportunity to really be invested in our people and families. And I think that this summit is just another demonstration of how we are coming together as a community and how we are caring for our people and families.
And for me, I have a personal story I don't talk about much. My great-grandparents were from Romania, and so they were immigrants to this country. And so they came through Ellis Island and eventually migrated toward Canada. And when my grandfather, when he moved to Detroit, a lot of times because he was Jewish, there was a lot of discrimination, particularly during the McCarthy years. And so a lot of times they would actually, as I like to say, dime them out. And they would publish my grandfather's information in the Detroit Free Press, and they would brand him as a communist. And so I saw some of the struggles. They did have to live in public housing at the time that my grandfather went through. And so what I'm most excited about really is the opportunity to bring all these resources together, as Councilwoman said, but really about Link Us, getting the information about what we're trying to do to improve our transportation system, and really just the report. I'm interested on what the global report is going to say, and just really bringing people together to know what's going on in our community.
Very interesting stories from both of you ladies. Definitely appreciate you sharing that with our listeners. So people are listening. How can they find out more information? How can they get involved? Maybe we have some entrepreneurs or some business owners that may want to volunteer, sponsor, become a vendor. What say you, ladies? How can they get involved?
Well, they can, obviously, they can email MORPC at info@morpc.org. That's MORPC.org. And I know Councilwoman's office has also been getting information. So I didn't want to share yours.
Yes. So you can follow us on Instagram. It's Lourdes for Columbus. We're posting things on our Instagram and on our social media channels. We also are hoping to get a website up on the city's website that just is an information page. So be on the lookout for that. But we've been also on we're going to do some news stories. There'll be some stories coming out in the next week or so to encourage folks to come. You can Google Columbus International Summit, and some information will come up on all the social media channels, so you can begin to follow the summit. Again, it is 10 to 2 p.m. on Saturday, June 25th at the Linden Recreation Center.
Yes.
Any last minute information you want to share? Go ahead.
I would just say we appreciate the opportunity to share the information about this inaugural summit, and we can use your help getting the word out. So if anyone can share this on their social media, and I know Councilwoman, you'll have some other things to say.
Yeah, this country was built by immigrants, migrants, and refugees, and it continues to make our communities, rich in culture and in music and food and experiences. And it just adds to the amazing tapestry that is Columbus. And so I'm just so excited that we are spending this month really celebrating our rich heritage of being an open community for all, especially as we continue to celebrate. This month is also Pride Month. So as we continue to celebrate our diverse communities, we ask folks to join us. So even if this is not your community, if you don't see yourself as an immigrant, migrant, or refugee, you are welcome to join us. If you have friends, if you have neighbors, please share about the summit with them. But this is really just another opportunity for us to come together in community. This is a city that loves to be in community. That's why our summer is so lit. We have all the festivals and opportunities to come together. And this is just another one of those.
I got to attest to that. I moved around and lived in other cities, but since I've been back to Columbus, Ohio, number one, I love how the city looks and how much it has grown. And you are right, Councilwoman. It is lit here during the summer. We've got all kind of festivals and events and things going on. And I tell my friends, from out of town, like, yo, don't sleep on Columbus, man. We got it popping down here, okay? Quit playing and come visit.
It's a true story. And still affordable. It's still affordable. We're the second largest city in the Midwest outside of Chicago. We said this a long time. There were lots of people predicted we would be a baby Chicago. I'm claiming it. We're not going to be a baby Chicago. We're going to be a big Columbus. So folks need to come out here and not sleep on us. But yes, please join us on the 25th. We would love to see y'all out there celebrating with us.
Well, thank you again, ladies. Councilwoman Lourdes Barroso de Padilla and Ms. Níel, Jurist, who is the Senior Director for Communications and Engagement for MORPC. Ladies, take care and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Have a good day.
Bye now.
Bye.